The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I am your host, Jon Herold, and it is Tuesday. Pretty hectic Tuesday, at least for me anyway. Kids had a bunch of activities this morning. They had like this little tutoring session. Then my daughter had dance. I had to bring my son home from tutoring, and then to go pick up my daughter from dance. A little lack of show prep on my part, so just full disclosure. Not quite soft disclosure. We'll get to that later. But still some interesting things circulating the interwebs right now. Some interesting headlines, a couple of great clips from Trump. And a lot of it is in line with, very much with what Ghost and some of us here at Badlands have been talking about in terms of the Middle Eastern conflict. And Trump is also very adamant that he's not going to be putting out the text of the memorandum of understanding or whatever. Israel doesn't even know what's on there. They haven't seen it yet. Like, think about that. We go over there basically to fight that thing on Israel's behalf. Trump denies it, but that's kind of what it was. All the while, we're trying to negotiate peace, and they're not even going to let Israel see what's in the text. That's hilarious. So we'll get into that. Yes, Chris Paul has a new article out. I'd encourage you guys to all go read that, and if it might be behind a paywall right now, I'd encourage you guys to subscribe to it. But if you want to wait, that usually puts those stuff out for free after like a week or so. But what's going on in the chat? The Bunny says, Deadwood attendees reminder, the theme for the first timers meetup is red, white, and blue and mullets. Pack your mullets and wife beaters. Interesting. I do have a haircut next week, and I'm going to start the growth of the mullet. I'm just going to shave the sides and see what happens. I think my ultimate goal is to have a hair like the fighter at the UFC fight who had the mullet. That's what I'm going for. My girlfriend's in denial about that, but I'm going to make it happen. Eric Q. Freeman, does soft disclosure work for internet irritation? It works for anything. It's all purpose. But let's get a quick word from our sponsors. Let's start with some soft disclosure. And we'll get Tamarack Gardens in. I'll have a Rumble Wallet read a little bit later in the show. But we'll start plugging away.
Everybody saves.
Everybody.
Even me.
Especially you.
You mean I just have to use a promo code to get the discount?
BB truly is an idiot.
Hi, fellas. What year is it?
Soft
disclosures for everybody.
Soft disclosure is for everybody. That song is so catchy. All the songs are so catchy. But seriously, guys, I don't want to take away from how awesome the product is because our commercials are so hilarious. Guys need lotion too. You know, it's not a gay thing. Like, get soft disclosure. It's amazing. Amazing product. Great story. And you're supporting Badlands Media in the process. Also the beard oil, deodorant. It's all amazing. But yeah, Dick says, John, the neocon Zionists and rhinos are all butthurt about the potential peace deal with Iran. And I am here for it. I think I'm here for it too. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? The Jeep Dog says, when will we see a soft disclosure commercial featuring Ash, or did I miss it? Let's just say stay tuned. That'll be coming as well at some point. Let's get a quick word from Tamarack Gardens, then we'll start plugging away.
3 boys taught me 2 things. Summer is an adventure and bugs are relentless. As an herbalist, I know you don't need harsh chemicals to protect your family. Here at Tamarack Garden, we've got you covered with natural sunscreen, mosquito and tick repellent that's even safe for your pets, a salve to draw out bug bites, and soothing sunburn cream, all made with the power of plants. Because we think summer memories should last longer than the bug bites. Tamarack Garden. Protect your family naturally and eat your weeds.
Eat your weeds. Yesterday, my daughter was complaining about a bug bite. Or was that this morning? That might have been this morning. It was this morning. Like a mosquito bite, and it was itchy. And we put the little bite me stuff on there, whichever one is good for the mosquitoes. And she hasn't complained about it since. And if you knew my daughter, she likes to complain about lots of things. So the stuff works. It's awesome. We live off that shit here in this house in the summer. Anyway, let's start plugging away. No update on the Doge website. Silver, gold, both up a little bit. Actually, gold might be down from yesterday. Or sorry, silver. It's at 70.52, up from last week. Either way, gold is at 43.43. Bitcoin down a little bit from yesterday. It's at 65,700. And gas prices continue to come down. $4.04 national average. The crude oil price, like the price per barrel, has gone way down, like pretty significantly down. So eventually, it's on a delay. They're sure quick to raise the prices, but to lower the prices, it takes them quite a while, which is why I made the bet with King. I don't even remember what we bet, but when he said $2.40 a gallon, and we were even at that point prior to the war, it's like, man, if these prices go up, it's going to take so long for them to come down. They got a ways to go. So we'll see what happens. The big news, or one of the bigger news stories coming out today is this. The FBI disrupted an attack plot targeting the UFC Freedom 250 event. The funny thing about these stories, and I say this every time we get a story like this, like the FBI foiled a terror plot, is if we're being honest with ourselves, there's no reason to believe the thing was ever going to take place because it didn't happen. They preemptively foiled something. And I also always think of the Michigan Whitmer kidnapping story of how they foiled a kidnapping plot, but it was really the FBI that was entrapping people. You never know if you get situations like that coming up with these. But anyway, the FBI and partner agencies say they disrupted an attack plot targeting the UFC Freedom 250 event in Washington, D.C. 5 suspects are in custody and 23 individuals were identified as part of a broader network. Investigators allege the plan involved explosive-laden drones aimed at nearby buildings to trigger a mass evacuation, followed by a staged sniper attack on the fleeing crowds. Authorities say a second wave plan involved a potential move toward a White House gate. The FBI launched its investigation on June 10th, coordinating across at least 12 field offices. One suspect, identified as Tyson Proper, was arrested in Cincinnati. 2 others, Brian Omar Roa and Michael Allen Thomas, were arrested in California, charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Additional arrests were made in Missouri and Nebraska. Wait, when was the fight? The fight was what? The 14th. So they were arrested. What date were they arrested? Because none of them were in Washington, D.C., which is where the fight was. Anyway, officials say communications reviewed included signal chats involving at least 23 users discussing pre-operational activity and potential travel to Virginia ahead of the alleged attack window. Secret Service said it worked closely with the FBI throughout the investigation, calling the response a coordinated effort to identify and detain those involved. Investigators say the alleged motive included targeting capitalist elites, billionaires, and political figures linked to donations from the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee. All individuals are in custody are believed to be U.S. citizens. My question for this, my honest question, is how the hell did the FBI find out that this was happening, these discussions were happening? Ash 1776, drones can be operated remotely. Well, wouldn't they have to get the drones up there? Can you buy them remotely and have them set up remotely too? What about the snipers? But they did say in here potential travel. But yeah, how did they find out about this going down? They were clearly spying on the people. When did our FISA authorities run out? FISA 702 authority expired when? On June 12th. Man, we're lucky. Had it been after June 12th, they never would have foiled this terror plot. Amazing they can figure out this plot, but still haven't prosecuted the J6 pipe bomber. Federal indictments have been unsealed against 15 Antifa members in Minneapolis. Good. This dig, I suspect the FBI was monitoring online chatter and picked it up. But if they're monitoring in signal chats, they wouldn't be able to just pick that up unless they're monitoring more than just internet chatter, you know? Carter Page back in the news yesterday in time for FISA expiration. We will get to that story here in a little bit. Kathy Lear says, Trump said they can see your clothes you're wearing from Space Force. Yeah, that I've heard similar stories. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm looking forward to seeing those indictments whenever they come out. But let's get to Trump. Let's get a couple quotes from Trump this morning. So he's in at the G7, right? And he's meeting with a bunch of Middle Eastern leaders who actually aren't even part of the G7. Chris Paul pointed that out. It's pretty funny. But he had some critical words for Israel and how they've operated during the conflict.
What are the expectations for Israel? Can this deal survive if Israel attacks Lebanon? It can, and I consider that the minor war. Iran's the big one, but we have that a little pinprick out there that constantly rears its head, and that's Hezbollah. And, I was very responsible for Syria, and the man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done an amazing job of pulling it together. He's not a Boy Scout, but he's done an amazing job of pulling it together. And he is very good with Hezbollah, does not like them. And I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it. And I didn't like Syria. I didn't like where 2 hours before we're signing the agreement that there was an attack in Lebanon, in Beirut. It was right in, it wasn't like in the southern side, and it was in Beirut. I did not like that. I let them know that. I didn't like it, not at all. But I think that Syria, he's pulled that country together amazingly quickly. He's very capable. And he's been very good for me. He's protected everything that I've asked for, he's done. And if Israel can't do the job without killing everyone else, he'll do the job. Syria will do the job.
Isn't that interesting? They can't do the job without killing. He's criticizing how Israel conducts the conflict. And this is not the first time he's been critical of Israel. And who was it said earlier? Beatrice Dick, I think. The Zionists and the neocons, they are freaking out over this deal. They all want to see it. They're all preemptively criticizing the deal, even though nobody's actually seen it yet. Trump did say he's I'm probably going to do a press conference and read it line by line just so that you guys can't misrepresent what I'm saying, which I thought was interesting. But here's him on the agreement this morning.
It's a very important document, and unlike Obama, who could have destroyed the Middle East with a horrible JCPOA. It is the worst agreement. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. Mine is a wall against a nuclear weapon. I mean, I see these people say, but we already had one. He paid a fortune for it. We pay nothing. We don't pay. There was some statement, we're going to spend $300 million. No, we're not. We're allowed to go and invest if we wanted to someday in the future. We have no obligation whatsoever. It could be that Iran will turn out to be successful one day. They have oil. But if we left a week ago, just left, before the last two attacks, it would have taken them 20 years to rebuild Iran. So, but I'll go over the document with the media in a couple of days. It's a very important document.
He's going to go over it with us in a couple days. I am curious, like the financial aspect, how much we're going to end up spending on the thing. If anything, I mean, I don't want to see a dime of ours go out. And I'm pretty sure JD Vance, he was on the View this morning, which I thought was interesting. Some probably pre-presidential, like, you know, reaching across the aisle, going on the all the networks, get his name spread a little bit. I mean, who would willingly subject themselves to that show? But he talked about this a little bit. I think it was, let me find it, JD Vance. Maybe he didn't say that on the View. Yeah, here we go.
What is a little unexpected and more
not on the View.
frustrating to me is that you see certain people in the American media literally recirculating hardliner talking points from the IRGC instead of telling the truth about what's going on. So first of all, not a single cent of American money goes to Iran, not $300 billion, not $24 billion, not any of the money, the dollar figures that I've seen floating around. Number two, this is a firm commitment backed up by verifiable action.
Oh man, normally when the volume on these things are low, I blame you guys. Like, just turn your volume up, and this is totally my fault. It's like, why are all these videos so low? And I had my Twitter volume down from when we were watching the Bigfoot thing last night on Baseless Conspiracies.
To never develop or buy a nuclear weapon by the Iranians, which, remember, that was the whole point of this entire operation, is to ensure not just that Iran wouldn't have a nuclear weapon for the next couple of years, but that they would make that long-term commitment. Now, here's the important part, though, is there are benefits to Iran if they perform their end of the obligation, not money from the United States, but maybe Qatar or the UAE or Saudi Arabia, maybe they want to invest in Iran and build a power plant. The United States, our approach to that is going to be, yeah, you can do that so long as the Iranians are behaving properly. But if they don't behave properly, they don't get any of the benefits of this bargain. And so you see the propagandists who are saying, here are all the things Iran gets. And the fine print, which actually the big print in the actual agreement is, they don't get any of that stuff unless they totally transform themselves as a country. And if they do, that's a huge win for everybody, for the region. If they don't, no skin off our backs.
There's that, and isn't it interesting how they have JD Vance out there doing the messaging on this?
What really bothers me and frustrates me, and it's unexpected, when the American media literally picks up talking points and propaganda from the IRGC that has no support in the text of the agreement that we've actually negotiated and no basis in reality. This is good for the American people. The Iranians don't get a dime unless they behave and change their behavior. And this means that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Sean,
When you
that's
say
why
they
we did
don't
this.
get a dime, do they ever get an American dime, a taxpayer dollar?
No. So number one, first of all, they never get a dime of American taxpayer money, ever. Full stop. Not even close.
Okay.
What we have said is there's a lot of economic benefit in the United States relieving a lot of sanctions and welcoming them back into the world economy. There's a lot of benefit there, not American money, but there's a lot of economic prosperity that can flow from that. What the president said to them is, we want you to be a successful country, but for you to be a successful country, you've got to give up on this threat. You've got to give up on this desire to have a nuclear weapon. And if you do that, the United States is willing to have a much better relationship.
Ghost, I just sent you an invite, like in the chat. You should hop on my show real quick. I'll send you the link in Telegram if you're able to. Because I got a couple questions. I know you're tracking this obviously a lot closer than most people. Links in the Telegram. So while I'm waiting for that, while I'm waiting for him to hop on, he can explain the situation of the Middle East conflict and the Jews and whatnot. Let me get to one more story from yesterday Oh, that was quick. He's already here. Look at that. Ghost, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up?
Not much. Been a while since you've been on the show.
It has. It has. How's everything going?
It's going all right. Explain what's happening. Explain the Middle East problem for us.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is what we've been tracking for a long time, and you're seeing it unfold. Trump is exiting the stage. He's used his, I call it the cyclone, where he's basically de-escalating and escalating at all times, assuming all sides of the narrative. By escalating, he incites the bloodlust of the Zionists, like to go get excited for war, like Lindsey Graham. By de-escalating at the same time, he also instills anxiety that their window of opportunity for war is closing. So they're like, shit, we got to go quickly. Yeah, so that's kind of, and he's kind of spun them up, right? As he is signaling peace with Iran. And now I think that what happened on Sunday with his birthday and with that whole America 250 thing, I think we've turned the corner now, kind of like we did about a week after we captured Maduro, where for a few days after we captured Maduro, Trump still was threatening. He was throwing shade at Venezuela. He was like, yeah, we like Venezuela. They need to behave. They need to behave. And then all of a sudden, like snap of the fingers, he just started talking about Venezuela in very glowing, positive terms. Yeah. And ever since then started calling them like a great ally. I think we've reached that point with Iran where he's not going to be threatening them anymore. And he's going to be talking about them as like pumping their tires.
Yeah. So a couple interesting things the last like 2 days that I've seen is his rhetoric surrounding like Israel. Like not only is he saying, you know, yeah, we have this agreement, but you can't read it. Israel, like they can't get access to the text. That's the rumor. But also there's rhetoric coming out of Israel where they're saying like, you know, we're not going to be beholden to this. We're going to still go fight. Was it in Lebanon or whatever if we need to? Like, what are you seeing on that front? I mean, Trump, it seems like, is kind of being critical of them, and they're also upset about this because they don't even know what's in it. Like they're left out of the peace deal. It's almost like NATO being left out of the deal with Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, that's the funniest part is that this memorandum of understanding has not been circulated at all publicly. However, it appears that all these Muslim countries have seen it and they've all bought into it. So that is, of course, angering the Zionists. What you're describing is the dynamic that I've been kind of studying for a few years now with the domestic politics, where Netanyahu now has both his allies, like the people in his security cabinet who are like religious zealots, who want greater Israel. They're mad because they're saying this is our one chance. They've already come out and said we're not pulling back from Lebanon or Syria. We're staying in Lebanon and Syria. That is our land. Netanyahu's already kind of signaled that as well. But if you share my screen, let me make sure I'm sharing the screen. This guy is like the favorite to win the election. He's already been prime minister once back in 2022. But he's like Netanyahu's chief rival in the upcoming election.
Naftali?
Naftali Bennett. And so he says his quote is, "The countdown to the regime change in Iran will begin the moment the government in Israel is replaced. Soon the people of Israel will elect new, dynamic, and determined leadership that will restore security to Israel." So he's basically saying Netanyahu is a wuss. He's blinking. We're going to finish the job with Iran once we kick Netanyahu out and get in there. So there is no anti-war political party in Israel. I think everyone needs to understand that. It's just which flavor of pro-war party are you getting? This is why I think Trump has been propping up Netanyahu for a while, is because he can control him a little better. This is going to drive Netanyahu deeper into war. He has no choice because both his allies and his enemies politically are saying that if you don't keep going, you're a pussy. So he has to keep going. He also can't afford to like lose the support of Trump, but all things equal, I think he would rather have the support of these people. So again, this is the dynamic, that the pincer move that Trump's put him in, where he has to keep going. And the really interesting part is that we just got disclosure from Lukashenko yesterday that this same guy, Naftali Bennett, is the entire reason that the Russia-Ukraine situation didn't get resolved back in May of 2022. Remember when Boris Johnson was blamed for that? Boris Johnson went in there and told Zelensky not to take the deal. Like Russia was in Kiev. And so then Putin pulls back because they had a deal in place. And then Ukraine relented and like reneged on it. And kept fighting. Turns out it was actually this guy, Naftali Bennett, who at the time was the Israeli prime minister. He was being the go-between, the mediator between Putin and Zelensky, and he's the one who actually did the deception, told Putin that they had a deal in place, and then turned around and Zelensky pulled out. So that is really, really interesting.
Oh,
And when you consider that, like, we've sent hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, and a lot of it has been apparently laundered to other places, that would be one incentive. The other incentive, of course, is Europe and Russia fighting is very, very advantageous if Israel wants to fight Iran, because Iran and Russia are allies. So they would want Europe fighting Russia, because then Europe could also fight Iran.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the logical conclusion here? If Israel's kind of stuck, like they have to keep fighting. It sounds like they want to keep fighting. At least most of the political parties there, they want to keep pushing and wipe out Iran. What's the logical conclusion to that from our perspective? Trump exits stage left, as he's been saying, and just says, okay, you guys go for it. Or if we have this deal with Iran, are we all of a sudden going to be defending Iran from Israel? Like, what does that look like?
Well, I think what we're going to see is Trump just pull out of the whole thing and just say, and say, yep, we're done. We're gone. See you later. And then Israel is going to plow forward, which they've already made very clear. Even the influencers online are saying, yes, do it. Plow forward regardless of what Trump and the U.S. do. And that's also, it's going to become like a black hole. Like that whole, like the IDF's going to collapse. They already are facing an existential crisis internally. They have really bad recruiting numbers. They're shorthanded. They're spread out fighting everywhere. They're guys who have fought in like 6 or 7 tours since October 7th. They're completely exhausted. And now they're going to lose U.S. support. Like, there's no way they can keep this going. So they're going to, like, the whole thing's going to bottom out, this greater Israel project that they're trying to create. And with it, I think it becomes a black hole. It sucks the GOP and all of that with it, because you're going to see the GOP, the knives are coming out, in the American domestic politics. You're already seeing the knives come out. They're sharpening the knives, and they're going to stab Trump right in the back when they realize that this thing is over, like the Iran war, and they didn't get what they wanted. So I think this exposes a lot of the people who have infiltrated MAGA, who would have become the natural successors to MAGA once Trump was done, but aren't actually populist. They are controlled by foreign influence. They're controlled by the Zionists. So this is going to expose the GOP, in my opinion. Hopefully it'll expose election integrity. But I think that's the plan. I think the plan is to let Israel pursue its natural ambition without us, and it's going to cause it to collapse. And then Israel has to basically negotiate from a position of weakness. They have to basically negotiate peace in the Middle East if they want to continue to be there, where they don't get to set the terms. The terms are going to be set on them by not only Iran, but the rest of the neighborhood, because the rest of the neighborhood is sick of this crap as much as anybody. They don't want war. They want golden age. You can't have a golden age when there's wars being fought.
Okay, so now with this memorandum of understanding, you said that Trump has kind of showed it to all the other countries in the region, all the players, and they seem to be accepting of it. Now, if what you just laid out kind of does come to fruition, where does that position these other countries in the region in terms of Iran and Israel? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to be sided with Iran then? Like,
it's a great question. So a few months ago, I identified this I call it the new security architecture of the Middle East. It's Turkey, Pakistan, and Egypt, those 3 militaries, with Saudi Arabia kind of being the linchpin. These are all countries that have not historically gotten along. Now suddenly they are getting along. And I speculated that we were going to see Iran tied into this because they're the most powerful military of all of them. And they would be a necessary pillar to make the security architecture in the Middle East work. What we've been told in the media for a long time, for months, is that the Arabs any day now are going to join the war effort and fight Iran. That was the whole premise of the Abraham Accords, was unite the Arabs on one team, put them with Israel, and then go fight the Persians in Iran. I think we're actually going to see the opposite. We're going to see them drift towards Iran because they want peace. They want actual peace. Trump is already signaling, he's telling everybody, because there's people in the chat who are going to say, we can't make peace with these people because they can't be trusted because XYZ. Trump's telling you they can be trusted. He's making a deal with them. Like, he's telling you, just like with Venezuela, these people can be our allies. You don't make peace with your friends. You make peace with your enemies. And in doing so, I think Israel is going to be exposed as the bad actor here. Because remember what happened on Sunday. Sunday morning, Trump said it in one of those clips at the G7. His birthday, he wakes up, Israel attacked Beirut. He was pissed about that. He said it in that Syria clip you played. He reached out to Barack Ravid and said a bunch of nasty things about Netanyahu, which got posted in the media. But JD Vance went and told Fox News that Iran had planned to do this massive counterstrike because they said, if you attack Beirut, we're going to retaliate on their behalf. JD Vance said that Trump then called up Iran and said, don't do it. Please back down. Be the stronger party by not attacking. Be the strong man and they said, okay, we trust you, Mr. President. We won't attack. They didn't attack. So Iran is being the compliant, cooperative party. Israel's being the defiant child. That's the dynamic moving forward. So by the time we get to the point of like settling this thing, which I don't think is going to happen with Trump, Iran, I think it happens with Iran, Israel. It's going to become very obvious to everyone that like the whole world is going to be like on the side of Iran and say, yeah, let's make peace. Let's end it permanently. 2-state solution with Palestine, pull back from Lebanon, pull back from Syria. Will Israel do it? Probably not, because they have their own agenda, but it's going to be very obvious the Arabs have to side with, like, are going to side with Iran, and no one's going to blame them because that's how you make peace is, you stop fighting each other.
Yeah. Last question for you. With everything we just discussed and us potentially, leaving them to their issues and pulling out of there, what does that do domestically for the Israel lobby? Because we have AIPAC, we have all these congressmen that are dual citizens and bought and paid for by Israel. We have all this propaganda, the social media influencers. We have this new bill, the NDAA. There's a couple sections in there where we're trying to normalize, intelligence sharing and all these technology things with Israel. Does that like kind of put a stop to the Israel push and lobbying domestically if they keep pushing forward and we're like, no, we had a peace deal, it was signed, our hands are wiped clean of this?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think it exposes the entire tentacle like infiltration, because this is not new. These things that are being told to us, these are not new. I mean, these might be new like pieces of legislation or whatever, but as I just described on Badlands Daily this morning, Israel, AIPAC told JFK when JFK said, y'all need to register as a foreign lobby. They said, if you make us do this, we will lose our control, our influence over Congress. If we lose our control and influence over Congress, we as a nation will be destroyed because we won't have the lifeline of money and military support from Congress. So you cannot do this. You cannot make us do this. This is literally our survival at stake. So I posited to the CanCon, if you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a foreign lobby control over Congress, it's going to want to rig elections. If it rigs elections, it's going to want to control law enforcement. It's going to want to control the intelligence community. It's going to want to shape the political narratives publicly by controlling the media. It's going to want to distract people with bread and circus with entertainment. It's going to want to inject propaganda into the entertainment. Make all the bad guys Muslim terrorists, Russian terrorists. It's going to want to bring Muslims to the Middle East, to America, and make them live in your neighborhood and make them build Islamic cities with their own Islamic laws. So you learn firsthand how terrible the Muslims are, and then you want to go kill them in the Middle East alongside the IDF. These are all this is not like a crazy conspiracy. This is just pragmatic thinking. If your job is to make sure that this nation survives and you see control of Congress as the critical core of that survival, that entire apparatus I just laid out has existed for a long time.
It's already happening.
It's now going to be exposed. So I think all of that gets activated against President Trump and against MAGA, and then we just see it for what it is. And then what do we do next? I guess we'll see.
Man, that's some good stuff. What anything else you're keen in on?
Turkey. Well, Turkey's going to be a really, really important player here. I've been speculating that maybe Israel will try to get Greece to attack Turkey in a Navy battle. But that's probably a bridge too far. But after Trump leaves G7, he's going to Turkey for the NATO conference. So that is going to be spicy. And Putin also called Trump on his birthday, and they had a bro moment. So I think we're going to see a Putin-Trump bromance sometime this summer. And then we will, whatever happens in Turkey's going to be exciting because there's going to be Ukraine, but then it's also going to be the Zionists with their hair on fire because of this memorandum of understanding that Trump's going to read on Friday.
Yeah, interesting stuff. It's wild that Bennett Naftali or whatever is the guy who was behind keeping the conflict there going.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? Yeah, and so his candidacy, like his prime ministership, that's the entire reason that Netanyahu had to turn to these crazy people and bring them into his camp, because he needed support to return to the prime minister's office. So he brought these crazy people in. They said, we'll only come in if you make us the top people in Israel. He made them the top people in Israel, and that's what's driven this entire dynamic we're in right now, where it's like invade Lebanon, invade Syria. It's game theory, I think. And I think Trump set this whole thing up to have it bottom out while he's president, as opposed to 20 years from now.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, awesome. When are you back on the network next? Tomorrow?
This afternoon, about 25 minutes, Geopolitics with Ghost. So I'm just going to be I'll just be getting autistic on geopolitical news. There's plenty of clips to play. So
yeah. So this is just a taste, guys. If you want the full experience, make sure you guys tune in. I'll be rating your show after this. So
sounds good, man.
Awesome. Catch you later. Thanks for popping in.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Awesome. He sure does know his shit. He's probably, like, honestly, he is the I would say foremost authority on Middle Eastern stuff. He's been tracking this stuff for so long. Nobody knows it better. I think I saw Call Sign Cujo in the chat. By the way, good to see you. He said Ghost knows too much. He's got to be AI. And I could be convinced. I think I could be convinced. Let's get a quick word from one more sponsor, and then we'll keep plugging away with the rest here. And we got Rumble Wallet. Folks, hold on. Let me get the ad read up. Oh, this is new. All right, here we go. Quick question. How much control do you have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything. Now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. This isn't hype. It's just where things are going. Getting started today is easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stablecoins, and even own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place. It's a non-custodial wallet, which means you, not a bank or a platform, controls access to your funds. Setup is super simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, your credit card, or your bank account and be up and running in minutes. And for a limited time, you can start your wallet with $10 in a US stablecoin, USDT, by downloading the Rumble Wallet and entering our exclusive promo code here, Herold, Herold 10, when you sign up now. You can even use Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators like us here at Badlands directly. So make sure you do this now. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description, or go to wallet.rumble.com/Herold and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, enter the promo code, and get your $10 in US stablecoin for free. Awesome. I got to get that changed to promo code Badlands. Sometimes they do that where they, hold on, I got to get this screenshotted so I can send it over. Sometimes they do it with my name instead when you need a Badlands stuff. So let me send this to Jessica. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, and then we'll keep going here. Gas down to $3.59 in Southwest Wisconsin, says Ramon 222. Well, that's great news, I would say. I feel like the White House watches Badlands so they know what to do in the future, says 12 Indie Boy. Good to see you, man. I'm convinced it's pronounced Turkey. It's a little gay, isn't it? C.N. Stewart, we support treason by ignoring congressional crimes. Hey, but we're just told to sit back and trust the plan and it'll all take care of itself, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Okay, a couple news items. We'll keep going here. And if you guys have anything you want me to look at, be sure to send it in the chat. Judge Barr's amicus brief in James Comey criminal case. A federal judge in North Carolina has ruled that no amicus or friend of the court briefs will be accepted in the case against former FBI Director James Comey. U.S. District Judge Louis Flanagan of the Eastern District of North Carolina issued a one-page order Friday stating that neither federal nor criminal rules provide for amicus filings and that both Comey and the government are represented by competent counsel. The court noted that allowing such filings is a matter of judicial discretion and announced that no amicus briefs will be considered. Any future request to file such briefs will be denied. Comey is charged with 2 federal counts of threats against the president stemming from we guys already know what it's from. Don't need to finish reading that. Thought this was crazy yesterday. Newsom announces that the DOJ is investigating him, and he calls the probe politically motivated. I would say that there's probably some smoke or there's probably a fire where that smoke is coming from, some corruption of some sort. California Governor Gavin Newsom announced Monday that he and his family are under a DOJ investigation alleging the probe is politically motivated and aimed at harming a potential presidential campaign. The governor said investigators are free to review his records, but urged that his wife and family be left out of what he described as a political vendetta. And if I'm guessing, the wife is probably where a lot of the corruption is coming into. His funds are probably much more monitored, or at least, there's at least a better reason to like keep track of his funds. It probably all comes in through the wife anyway, through like some of her NGOs and all that stuff. So it's interesting that he's even saying like, just leave my wife out of this. I'll deal with this as the guy being politically targeted here, but just leave her out of it. I would wager that when it comes down to it, the money that they're stealing or whatever being paid, bought off, whatever the crime is, it's going through the wife. Newsom pledged to continue opposing the president and said he would not be intimidated by the investigation. White House correspondent Shelby Talcott reported on X that a source familiar with the situation claims there are several investigations involving Gavin Newsom. Oh, here we go. Reportedly focused on his wife's taxes and his chief of staff. The Post says the probes did not originate from the main DOJ and are instead based in Sacramento, involving whistleblowers, according to the source cited. Suck it, Gavin Newsom. Oh, where am I at? Hold on, I want to scroll down. St. Pete 70, leave his wife alone. She's only making $300K a year from her NGO. And where's the money coming into the NGO from? We have to stake the DOJ can investigate any credible crime. Doesn't mean it's political. If his wife committed crimes through her PACs, so be it. This is the clear distinction between the left and the right, and what Trump is trying to do and how he's trying to navigate this. Because the left has politically persecuted their opponents for a long ass time. I mean, we could just go back to 2016 with the Russiagate stuff, and then everything since, all the way through what they did to Trump before he got reelected or reinstalled, however you want to look at it. And then when Trump is like, okay, well, what you guys did was actual crimes. There was no there when you guys did it to me, but you fabricated it anyway. You tried to delegitimize me. It didn't work. But now it's our turn. And what you guys did was actual crimes. But then when we do it back to them, it's, it's tit for tit. It's political retribution, persecution, whatever. That's all propaganda. Mainstream media propaganda. Jadina08 says, trust the plan, John. Watch the wives. I will trust the plan as soon as somebody tells me exactly what the plan is. Until then, I can't trust it. Mimi2 Boys X2 says, LOL, I was watching while at the dentist and a lady started watching with me. Who is this ghost you reference? That's funny. Good to see you, Mimi Boys. Spread the word of Badlands. Spread the gospel of Badlands. Adam Carpenter, 1982. I think Oklahoma is going to hand Trump an endorsement loss in governor's race. The guy paid Roger Stone $75,000 to be an advisor and got Trump's endorsement. Not a good look. Yeah, that's not a good look. Is that a bad look on Trump or bad look on Roger Stone? PG Corrigan, when you need Tim Walz to come to your defense saying how you're not corrupt, you know you're effed. That's a great point. New case says, what if the plan is to trust the plan, though? What if the plan is to trust the plan? Is that what the plan says, though? I mean, that's what I just want to see what the plan says. I know Trump isn't sharing his memorandum of understanding with anybody, but that doesn't mean we can't, like, if you know the plan and you talk about the plan and decode the plan, it doesn't mean you can't tell us what the plan is. Instead of just saying trust the plan. The Q Awakening says Johnism number 274, tit for tit. Hell yeah. Much better than tit for tat. What if the plan goes tits up? That's a great question. What if? Especially if we don't know what it is. We'll never even know if the plan went tit up if we don't know what it is. Rock Justice says the state is deep. It sure is. Here we go. Supreme Court rejects Carter Page bid to revive FBI surveillance lawsuit tied to Crossfire Hurricane probe. Supreme Court on Monday declined to take up former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page's attempt to revive his lawsuit against former director James Comey and other officials tied to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, leaving the lower court rulings in place. I think this is kind of gay. The decision comes after the U.S. government reached a $1.25 million settlement in April resolving Page's claims against federal entities. That agreement did not include individual FBI officials and covered only certain claims brought under the Patriot Act, not allegations under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Page, who served as an informal advisor during the 2016 Trump campaign, was subject to 4 FISA warrants issued during the Russia probe. Later, Justice Department Inspector General review found the FBI made 17, write it down, decode it, 17 significant errors and omissions in its FISA applications and criticized reliance on the now debunked Steele dossier. Page filed suit in 2020 alleging unlawful surveillance based on misleading warrant applications. Federal District Court dismissed the case in 2022. District Court affirmed it, citing statute of limitations grounds. That's just so dumb. You know, I understand like the principle of the statute of limitations, but I don't know if I love it. Like if somebody commits a crime, all the statute of limitations does is allow them to get away with it. And a lot of the people committing the crimes are the ones that are on the side of justice that carry it out. You know, it's like people within the intelligence community, people in the law enforcement, the Justice Department. It seems to really only benefit them, the people of power, the elites. They're the ones that always get away with the statute of limitations. It's very rare that us peons benefit from that. You know what? I wonder what ChatGPT says. Why is there a statute of limitations? Why does a statute of limitations exist? I don't know if I've ever actually looked that up. The statute of limitations exists because the law eventually wants disputes and accusations to reach a point of finality. The basic idea is after enough time passes, it becomes harder to fairly prove what really happened. Evidence gets lost, documents disappear, memories fade, witnesses die, move on, or become unreliable. People may no longer have records that could defend them. So the law says you have a certain window to bring a claim or a charge, and after that, it may be too late. So I could see that for like civil stuff, maybe. Like criminal stuff, like if these people spied on Carter Page's and like ruined his life and abused their position as law enforcement to do so, deliberately misrepresenting stuff, they shouldn't be allowed to get away with that. I'm just reading the chat here. They made the law for themselves as usual. Rock Justice says we are being played. Could be. The goal is to operate as if you are being played. Trust nobody. Trust nothing. Try to figure stuff out for yourself. Take stuff into your own hands. Don't trust no plans. Even if you believe a plan is going on, you shouldn't operate as if it is. Did they add a statute of limitations in the Freedom Plaza in downtown D.C.? Sean Stewart, all wars were over 6 weeks ago. The military-industrial complex is still not stealing taxpayer monies. The rich aren't getting richer. There are no criminals in Congress, Senate, Judiciary, Executive. I feel like you're being a tad facetious. What else? Here's some CNN propaganda. U.S. intel assesses Iran can shut down the Strait of Hormuz at will from now on. I might have even had another story kind of on this. I just want to see if I can find it. Okay, no, never mind. But anyway, U.S. intelligence agencies have recently assessed that Iran can effectively shut down the access to the Strait of Hormuz at will from now on, meaning the country's regime has acquired a powerful new ability to hurt the global economy as a result of the war, according to 3 sources familiar with the findings. Regardless of the framework agreement that is due to be formally signed on Friday, which, by the way, guys, yesterday I mentioned, I think this deal has already been signed. They did AutoPen sign it. It was electronically, digitally signed. And they're just doing like the formal press conference meeting stuff on Friday. So there go the decodes. All the decodes were like, oh, we go to Delta on the Friday the 19th. It was already signed, which in my opinion would, take away from that Delta, wouldn't it? Anyway. That is due to be formally signed on Friday to open the key waterway and as a prelude to nuclear talks. Iran proved it can shut off access to the strait during the current conflict, and U.S. intelligence assessments suggest that can happen again. We've now handed Iran de facto control over the strait, a weapon more powerful than any nuke. Didn't we shut down the strait as well, though? Wasn't it like kind of both of us shutting it down? That was kind of my understanding of it. But I could be wrong. It's happened before. Let me see. I might be out of stories now. Let me see if there's anything new here quick. 1 second. Yeah, I think that's all. Well, here's some good economic news. Qatar looks to rapidly restart LNG exports once Hormuz reopens. Qatar is aiming to restore a large portion of its liquefied natural gas export capacity within 2 months. The company plans to increase output to about 50% of capacity a month to reach roughly 80% within 2 months. Much faster recovery than some analysts and traders expected. Great news. Edgar Friendly says no plan was signed. They signed a memorandum of understanding that is very different from any contract. Well, but whatever they're doing on Friday has already been signed digitally. They're just doing the like the in-person version of it Friday. And it's like the prelude to the larger negotiations, which will also require a signature whenever those are done. But the deal was already agreed to and signed digitally. So therefore, Edgar Friendly, I'm pretty sure it was a planned random. I like that. Mullet requirement for GART. Not a requirement, but a suggestion, I would say. Yeah, by the way, guys, get your GART tickets either tomorrow or Thursday. I have to confirm, but we're going to be doing our next exclusive live stream for ticket holders. This conference is next week. Oh, man, I got to finalize panels and stuff. Holy cow. June 25th through the 28th. badlandsmedia.tv/events. We're going to be live streaming the golf outing the best we can. Don't know how we're going to make it work yet, but we're going to do our best. The Q Awakening says, hey, John, no cheating. You promised us yesterday to make it up to us. I did not promise that. Did I? Edgar Friendly, still just a memorandum of understanding. What's your point, though? It's still a signed agreement. I don't get what you're saying. Anyway, I think I got 1 or 2 rants here. 1 rant. Thomas Tynes, I had 17 passengers today. Must be a calm. Must be. But all right, guys. With that, I'm gonna get out of here. I think I do have another guest tomorrow. Where's Green Star when you need him? Patel Patriot, better pray for those predicted thunderstorms. Stay away Thursday. Predicted in Deadwood? No. New case says I'll either get a 1 day for Thursday or Saturday if you sell them. I won't be able to buy till last minute. Those, so please keep the ticks up till last minute. We will. Thursday we don't have anything but the golf outing and the VIP dinner. So single day tickets are for like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So be the Saturday one for you. Rock Justice, I've never been, but would love to be there. If you've never been to a GART, guys, ask anybody who has been there. They're awesome. I mean, the content is great, and we have fun doing that, but it's all about the community and meeting like-minded people and other Badlanders, and so many people have made friends for life. It's really amazing. Ash 7076 says it's only been 7 years, John. You can't expect to see the plan yet. Just trust. Hasn't it been longer than that even? But yeah, that's just not how I operate. Anyway, I'm gonna raid you guys over to Ghost. I will be back on tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Daily Herald. Hit that thumbs up. You guys have a good rest of your Tuesday. Yeah, with that, I'm out of here.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me?